I looked up at my captors. They were ticket takers at Coney Island, ushering me into a crazy house. Then I felt my consciousness leave through the small orifice in my arm. And then I woke up in hell.
Deleuze, as I just said, is the greatest materialist philosopher ever. He, of course, poaches or gets his inspiration from other materialist philosophers in history, such as Spinoza, parts of Nietzsche, parts of Bergson. But nevertheless, he's the one who synthesized a new form of materialism that doesn't have any of the problems of the past, of either dialectical materialism or historical materialism, that returns us back again to a world in which we don't only want to engage in representation, but in intervention in reality, causal interventions in reality. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Materialism has, of course, many branches and many areas. One can study a philosophy of nature, and I've done several talks here about philosophy of nature, including my last year presentation. But eventually, even a materialist has to come to terms with experience, has to come to terms with this virtual reality, in quotes, that my brain is producing right now, in which you guys have represented in my consciousness from a certain angle. That is still the holy grail of philosophy. It is to me equally important with a philosophy of nature, a philosophy of mind, and a philosophy of experience. It doesn't matter how much of a materialist one is. One has to eventually come to terms with experience, with consciousness, with awareness. So I'm going to use a long period of history. I always do that. Many historical processes don't play out their consequences until 500 years or 700 years later. So you normally have to take an 800-year or 1,000-year time frame. 1,000 years is a good one. It's a whole millennium. In order to really see the historical consequences in their full time, in their full temporality. Okay. Of course, here is the rate of urbanization. What is the rate of urbanization? Well, partly is you take for every year how many cities are born that year, meaning how many rural villages became small towns, how many small towns became medium-sized towns, how many medium-sized towns became large towns, and then you subtract how many cities died that year, whether from famines, whether from war, whether from epidemics. Right? And that is the rate of growth in the number of cities.